Welcome back to Just Enough Garage. 1936 Oldsmobile, 354 bolt main, front disc brakes. All that's gonna wait. We're doing woodwork on the interior of this car because it's made out of wood. Okay, as you saw in the opener, I talked a little bit about this. If you're the first time joining me, my goal is the first day of summer, have this done. We're close. Okay, so last time I showed you the brake stuff. I've run the lines. The mounting turned out okay. This worked out all right. For the rod there, it's all piece of all thread 3/8. I think it'll work. I had to do some modification right here. Offset that because when you shifted the gears, it wanted to hit the brake pedal. So it clears now. Of course, we don't know till we drive it. The exhaust system, I haven't started it. This woodwork I was talking about, this is the woodwork. This is all put together. I'm not an expert, okay? This is the first time I've owned a car this old, but everything was wood inside, and then it appears, and here's an example of that. It appears that they wrapped the metal around it and put nails on it. Let me show you a better example here on this door. So a few weeks ago I showed you I had one door kind of ready to go. So what they got is this metal. There was a wood frame and then they put the metal over and they nailed it on. Well, after 90 years, this car is 90 years old, some of it's coming apart. And so it's neat the way they did everything, but I am not a restorer. I'm a backyard guy. Clearly, I'm in the backyard. I'm authentic to that. So we had talked about some of this pallet wood and making it go together. This is just rotten out down here. Now, I could go really insane and try to remanufacture all that. I don't have a wood shop. So what I'm going to do is what's called patch. I'm going to patch it. But you can see the skin is like this. The wood takes care of it. That is a very thin piece of metal. Now, I'm fortunate in that on the bottom of this door, it's in good shape. We'll try to put everything back together. I don't have a window for this side. I need to order some windows. $140 for the windshields. I had this window in this setup, and this one works. This is a finished product. I need a few more screws in it. That I'm gonna, I gotta do a little work over here where it's rotted out. There's a couple things to do. Again, I'll just reinforce this by putting another piece over it. Anyways, yeah, it's got some issues. Still looking for a name. I got a couple of suggestions for names on this car, what we should call her. Everyone thinks she's a she, so I guess we're going with a girl's name. But if you want to use a they, them name, or a he, or a she, or just let me know in the comments what you think this thing should be called. I'm not much for naming my cars. My children and my friends are. So, anyways, let's get started on woodwork. All this mechanism works inside for the window. You can see I'm missing the wing window right here, but I have it right here on the parts door. So I'll be taking that out. There's some other door handles and stuff here. It's a really big job that I'm going to do an okay task with, put it together. I'll probably do some time lapse in this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's video of us cruising on over in my RS Capri. It turns out again this weekend they're doing the same thing, and so I'll walk you into my shop. So this guy buried underneath here, I'm hoping to get him out later. This is my 53 Willy's rat rod. There'll be a story time with Darian coming up when I go to dig this out. Mariana, my editor and third daughter, she has discovered some pictures from 2005 of me fetching another Willy's, not this one. This one came from an island out here in the off the coast of Washington. But this Willy's that I got, we drove 800 miles to go get it. and I had it for a while. It had a flathead Ford in it, so I've been doing this, collecting these old vehicles for years and years and years. Anyways, if you watch the end of the video, I'll show you some of that. But more importantly, I've been trying to use the video as an opportunity to drive the cars. So if you always watch to the end of the video, you'll see what car I drive and where I go. I try to add something like that every week. Looks like Rolly came out to say hi. How you doing, buddy? All right, let me get set up and do some woodwork. You guys remember my Hyper Tough from a few videos ago? She's finally give up the ghost. Before you throw something away, you need to have a replacement. Here's another wore out one. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this rotten wood. It's no good. I can't use it. So let's make a straight line. And again, if somebody out there is a really superior woodworker, put that thing right there, I guess. If somebody's a really superior woodworker and they want to volunteer their time and come do this in the evening for me, I will allow it. But what I'm doing is what I'm doing, and this is a lesson for you as well. Make sure that if you take on a project, you learn the skills. Oh, that's a good skill right there. I'm going to hit that bolt. I need to move this down a little bit. Now, because I got OCD to some degree, I want to try to line that up so the seam looks parallel to the door. Not necessary. It's just, you know, if you're going to do a job, you try to do the best you can, right? So, this is not the right tool for the job. I think all my stuff is wore out at once. So then I take, shoot, gotta go get a battery. I take old Skilly here, old Milwaukee, and I'm gonna set the depth of the blade so that, okay, I'm assuming everybody here has used a skill saw, so, but you see I don't want that to come through the bottom, so I will set it to the thickness of the piece of wood or a little bit less. And that's exactly right there. And I can do that just by using a piece of wood like this. I can see that the teeth barely come through. The reason I'm doing that is even if I left a little bit, I could use a razor blade and cut that. And in this case, it's not going to matter. It's not going to hit anything. But I'm trying to avoid hitting the edge of my wood to metal contact and metal. She's a gem. Isn't it a peach? Let me go get a battery, and then I'll show you cutting that. All right, how'd we do? Almost through. Perfect. So, I'll probably just take a few minutes here, get this piece out, and then I'll show you. This is going to take hours, right? So there's no reason for me to show you every little piece. This whole thing is floppy floppy. It's all junky junk. So let me do this. Let me hold you up here so you can see me. Let me take a few minutes. This is the principle. This piece will now fit in there, and I'll make a piece that'll fit in there. Everybody's going to be happy, and I'm going to put it all back together. I'll probably just show you the finished product because I have a hard time going step by step, editing, filming. I just like to show you, wham, it's done. So I'm trying to judge how much interest you guys really have in this, so I'll try to show you bits and pieces of what I'm doing. This is connected to the hinge. The hinge plate's connected to the wood plate, connected to the, I don't know what kind of captured nut screws they did, nailed over. It's very interesting the way this was built. Let's be honest, I'll be able to match it. So what I got here is this was screwed in this way with some wood screws, and then these bolts, these two main bolts, go through this sandwiched wood. Well, you can see that the wood is shrunk, the hinge is loose. I need to save the hinge, but it was not welded to any of the body. And this is interesting. To be a purist, I am not. But do I weld the hinge to the body skin? Because then I've taken away from its authenticity. So I want to restore it to its originality, but I don't like the way it was originally made. So I'm going to get rid of this piece of wood, sandwich a piece in here, put this all back. Maybe I'm going to keep building different wood, I don't know. But if I layer it out, I can make this thing as deep as I need, get some longer bolts, sandwich it in, and it should be okay on the hinge. I got to deal with this one up top too, but since that's already loose, I'll do the same thing. But I wanted to show you, just in case you're interested. Very early on, I got a comment when this car first hit the YouTube, when I first started working on it. A guy said, I don't like working on those 30s cars because of all the wood. And I thought, it's not that much. Nah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, it turned out he knew what he was talking about, and I'm learning the experience that others have said. Well, when they say an all steel car, I, in my ignorant wisdom, thought that that was, you know, like the teens in the 20s. By 1936, I figured that everybody was all metal. So, whatever. Pre-war. Okay. So let's try to get it apart. So you can see it was hardwood. These were their system. I would imagine that every piece of wood that was made for a specific shape, and you put them in a certain order. Big Lego set, I would imagine. So now the hinge, these are easy now, just to cut these off, replace them with some different screws, countersunk. So now, oh, you can't see. Man, I miss John. He's already on his night shift, so he's here, but he's sleeping. He's been doing a good job where he's working. So now we look at this, and you see that rotten wood. Well, a smart guy, and I'm not a smart man. Well, I probably am a smart man. I think I'm about cutting back here. Maybe I'll cut it at an angle this way and replace this piece of wood. Then I have good wood, good wood, good wood. So when I said it's going to take hours, I'm not saying this is all I'll get done today, but if this is all I get done today, I'm like going to be super happy. This is the driver's door. Now let's go over and take a look at the location. The hinge here is in good shape. This is in steel. This is in steel. That's in good shape. Back here, wood. I don't know that I have the latch for this, or this, well, the sun is in your eyes. So we'll do something with that. There is an insert, like this one has an insert. I'll look through all the boxes of junk I have. Hopefully I have the insert. If not, it's a gate hinge or a gate pin. Down here, when I was saying earlier about the other side in the last video, this piece of skin is bolted to the wood on the wood frame. There is a steel frame under here, of course, but the body was all wood and set on it. And then it had through bolts that went into the wood, and the wood was bolted to this. You can see there's a hole the way it was mounted. Let's get rid of that. So the whole thing was different construction, but I should be able to lay a piece of wood in there, bolt it through there, bolt that through there, and it's going to be as good as it ever was. Is it a car that you want to go into a wreck in? Probably not. Is it a car that you can cruise around at 40, 50 miles an hour in your local neighborhood? Absolutely. So that's what I'm working on. I'll keep chugging along, and I'll show you again progress as we get closer to, you know, completion. Okay, so if anybody's ever done floor repair, rot repair, under a house repair, it's very common in Washington. If you've ever been a contractor or a house builder for more than 15 minutes, you've done some rot repair like this. So you can see I've gotten back to some good wood. This is no problem. It took a while to saw through it with my old Sawzall. So now I have this pattern. I'm going to lay this on another piece of wood, and this is why I went after this pallet board wood. It's very similar. It's the same material, and you see I can get a lot out of it. It's a very affordable way to get this hard oak, because they give it away. We'll clean it up. It'll have the right vintage look. This is what I said months ago when I said, let's go get this wood, and everyone thought, oh, you're dumb. I'm like, no, I'm not. Let's talk about these. That stuff didn't really work. The Home Depot stuff didn't really work. I still got a half a can. I'm going to work on this in my spare time. It looks like the suggestions were given a little while ago about a bead blaster. I've got a line on one. I don't know that I'm going to do the surface because this is pretty close, but I'm definitely going to take it in there and do the back. I have a plan We talked about painting this gold so that the interior of the jelly, the bean, will be gold inside. And we're going to go with a gold that's similar to what these already had on them, and is similar to what the Numeroso valve covers we're going to do. Again, Darian's got this idea. We've talked about it. We've got the brass, we've got the gold. I want to do some pinstriping on some of these highlighted areas. Thinking about doing the dashboard gold. I have to get out all the components, look at them. So this would be gold. Down here, you can see there was some pinstriping, maybe right in the center of that. Do some gold pinstriping, rough up, get all the flaky paint off of it, you know. So you can see there's a little bit of overspray gold on here from somewhere it sat. It got some overspray on it, and do something with that. So anyways, there's an update. We're still chugging along. So now I got a piece to make. It's going to go in here at an angle. I can then put a screw straight through this way and catch both pieces. I can put a mending plate on there. The door panel, I mean, if I use that Lexan, will be a mending plate. This stuff is not strong. This is weak. So we'll get that shaped in there. I'm going to avoid putting any through this way and utilize their system, but probably put screws back in it instead of nails. And then we'll rebuild the whole lower section. And, you know, Bob's your uncle. You're done in 10 seconds. Not a problem. Bada bing, bada boom. The upper one, probably, again, I keep saying I won't show you, but then I keep showing you. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. This one, I think I can probably leave that wood because it's in better shape. Let me move the saw. But you can see they've got the same style. I get rid of those. I can put a piece of mending in there as long as it doesn't interfere with the window. If not, it's a couple of washers. I squish it together. If I get into a bad situation, I could always put a weld there that's hidden on the skin, and that's probably not a bad way of doing it. You know, again, there's no rules on these 90-year-old cars. You want to do it how you want to do it. It's your car. I am not a restorer. I am clearly a backyard guy, but, you know, I don't have restorer's money. If you want a car like this, they're out there. Go buy one that's finished. That's probably the cheapest way you'll ever get one, is a finished one. It's so expensive for laborers for somebody to do this. They don't make this wood kit. There's a lot of things they don't make. Gas tanks. The internet doesn't make a gas tank for this. And this says, well, use something from Ford or, no, excuse me, Chevy or Buick. Well, I'm not going to do any of that. So that's the thing I have to find, gas tanks. Radiators. I have one. You guys saw it in a previous video. Is it good? I don't know. Again, there's no radiators available for these. So you'd have to take one of those upright 40 Chevys or something and try to make it fit. I'm hoping this one will work. You know, stuff to do like that. So it's a challenge, you know. It's a challenge, but I love it. It's coming along, and I'll keep plugging and give you another update. Okay, so hopefully you can see these. These are the pieces I cut out, and they went like that. That was Oldsmobile's system. It didn't touch the bottom, it didn't touch the top, it was just a reinforcer. So what did I do? I first cut this piece, which mimicked that piece, right? And it goes in there, and you can see I actually left the old nails and stuff. You know, like I said, I'm trying to, I don't know, I guess I got issues because I'm trying to make it look authentic, like it was never touched, like it's a Survivor, but yet it's been touched. Okay, there you go. Hollywood plastic surgery's goals, reality. We know what the difference is. Then I got this reinforcement. Instead of this tiny little guy, I'm going to put it in like this. Now this was slick because that one stopped there, so I mimicked that. But this one I said, Darian, why don't you be a little smarter? So I went under that lip, and now that's going to hold it together. And when this gets all bolted in, I didn't worry about touching this area here because I didn't need to. So now I'll put some screws, you know, and then this will clamp together here. The hinge will go back on. The hinge will go back on. I'll go to the hardware store. I'll get some bolts. Then I'll drill that through, and that'll all sandwich. Now, is that going to be a solid fix? It's got to be better. Same thing over on this side. Then we'll break out the other piece. I've got to run and go grab my grandson. I watch him on Fridays, so when I say I got a lot going on, I'm just like you. I got a lot to do, and this is my hobby. I've given myself 6 months to do this project, and again, that's fluid. If it don't work out, it don't work out. If I finish tomorrow, hey, that's a bonus. Enjoy what you're doing. Take time to enjoy. You know, I don't drive the cars as much in the winter, so I'm going to try to make that up in the summer. And again, I'm going to bring you guys along, see some of this stuff. You know, if it's beneficial to me as a YouTube content provider, if you watch the videos all the way through the end, share, comment, like, subscribe, you know. Again, I'm a small-time guy doing this on my budget. I have responsibilities. I live in a very expensive area of Washington. I'm a single-family provider, and I still have some kids living at home. And John is my youngest, but, you know, he doesn't have the money to get moved out. My other daughters who are married and stuff, they're struggling financially as well in this area. Everybody is. So to be able to have the time and the means to do even a project like this, it's a blessing. And the joy you get from doing a project like this, I think it's going to pay dividends. When it all turned out, you see I lined that up, so when this goes back into place, I'm thinking about taking some mending plates, some things like that. Like I say, there's a whole system going on here. Oh, the dog's excited. Anyways, with that, I will come back this afternoon and do some more. But like I say, I dropped my tools. I got other things to do, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, time for an update. I'm back on this. I've been dinking around for a few minutes. Grandson is sleeping in the truck. As a matter of fact, he fell asleep on the way over here. So, noisy, go away. So this piece, all these are just sat in here. I've got this kicker here. I've got this piece sat in here. I've added some screws to stiffen it up. I've got this piece in here just setting here. I've rebuilt this with the 2 layers. This is just a kicker that I will place once I get this. But to do all that, this has to be out of the way because we're up to the hinge. This is the hinge. They had a countersink screw head in there. I've transferred the measurement. So what am I doing? Okay, well, I'm not going to use a wood screw. And a carriage bolt is what I purchased. 1/4 inch, 4 inches long. That might give me enough to go through both of these pieces of wood. Nope, not really. So I'm going to have to modify that wood, notch it. But when I stick it through here, you see that there's a button on the top of that. Just a little bit button. So I'm going to try to grind that down a little bit and leave the head. And if that's not enough, which it probably won't be, let me set you up here. Okay, so you can see the other hinge. We're working on the bottom. Oh, there is enough room. Dynamite. Okay. So, problem solved, potentially. See that gap? It looks like that's set in the right position. So let's go ahead and install a button head carriage bolt. I mean, it's wood. It's practically a wagon, so why wouldn't I use a carriage bolt on my carriage car? Okay, it looks like it's going to be just right. If it's not, I'll grind the head of this off. If that isn't right, my exit plan here, it doesn't look right. Why does it stop like that? Did I just put that in upside down? No? I guess that's as far as it goes. What? That ain't right. Why am I dumb? Go look at the other door, Darian. Okay, let's go look at the other door. You have no hinges. Ugh. There's only one way it can go on. Well, I'm going to fool around with that. I got this one on the door. I know how it goes. It goes just like that. It's got to work. I mean, it's got to, right? So let me go ahead and drill these out. Leave the carriage bolts. Sandwich it all together. Get you caught back up with the lower half. Then we'll hang the door and see if I'm close. And then I'll attack the top half. Get my wing window here figured out. Ay, ay, ay. And I'll keep moving forward. At some point, another couple hours of this, I'm going to call it quits. Dig out that Willy's rat rod that's in the shop and go on a drive. And then I'll just keep working on this throughout the weekend. And I'll go, ta-da, that seems to be my MO. I finish something, ta-da, I give you an overview and say this is what I got, ta-da. Like here's an example, a master brake cylinder and power brakes needed a vacuum hose. So I ran that hard line all the way down to the rubber connection, and I got it clamped. It goes right up this way. This floor seems to go on, and it goes right here into the back of the carburetor. See, so I bent that up, but again, you won't see that stuff unless I show you, but that's part of what goes into these projects. So, continuing with that system, let me go ahead and get it all put together. I'll get it hanging here. The door should then be solid, and we should be able to go ahead and go this way. I had just figured on using washers on this because this wood is so new, but I have the option of cutting a big mending plate piece of steel and doing that. This one here is a little wiggly tiggly. I got bolts for it. This one I'll probably go ahead and take that out and put a piece of steel behind there and make it a squish system, because I'm afraid the wood will not hold the washer. All right, let me continue on. I'll give you further updates. All right, in an effort to continue to include you in my project, the hinge is in. We ended up with that. Again, I have the option of slightly grinding that if there's a clearance issue. I double nutted it here, and that seemed to do all right. It tightened it right up. Looks good. This piece I've modified a little notch, and then this is adjustable slightly to see what I want for the height there when I go to put all these boards in. I put a little bit of self-etching primer in there. I wished I had some rust converter, whatever. It'll get more paint later. And I need to do, where's my stick? I got a stick for that. Aha! It's here on the table. And I've got a little shelf cover stick here. Similar construction. Will come up and support this system as well. Then all be screwed together. So let me go ahead and put all this together. And then I will probably just do that, you know, on my own and show you the results and hang the door. So if you were to say, what is your expectation, Darian, of your today's topic? Well, don't get stung by that wasp. But what my expectation would be for this weekend, because this is an elephant one bite at a time, is get this door hung, get it properly. Go over to this door, and this one's not as bad off. I don't know why. I said earlier about the hinges, and then I looked up. I'm like, you dummy, you have them right here. So that's a zero issue now. I've got this one in pretty good shape, so I'll have to do a little bit of repair right in here, hang this door. So for me, a win would be paint that dash while the sun is shining, hang both doors this weekend. That would be a win for me, and go to the cruise night with my rat rod. I'm going to make the expectation achievable. I'll continue on with this. If you don't see the finished product in this video, it's okay. You're going to see it in the next video. You know, I got a zillion things I'm doing, just like you. Continue on your way. I'll continue on my way. I'm looking forward to seeing this finished as much as you. At this point, it hasn't really cost me a lot of money. Pallet wood, free. I have $3.77 involved in this hardware. These screws were a little bit more money, but I believe they're dual purpose. I've got them this self-drilling, and when I get my Lexan glass or my plexiglass and I get all this stained and painted, then I'll come along and put the screws in, so it'll hold the glass in as well, or the plexiglass. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to chug along. I'll catch you guys in a few minutes. Probably the next scenery you're going to see is, ta-da, that rat rod going on a cruise. And hopefully I can give you a follow-up. If not, I'll just start the next video with it. Not a problem.